Okay, so second video on the experience of being at Oxford as a black student, black or mixed race student. It's going to be much harder. So I kind of touched briefly on interview experience, socially isolating. I was actually pretty glad to see that when I arrived at Anne's to actually start there, um, the majority of those kind of really rich privileged kids that I had met at interview either hadn't got in or went somewhere else because they weren't there. There were obviously that's still an element of any college, but there were actually many more black people than I'd expected there to be at college. Like a second year told me that in her first year there were maybe 2 or 3, and then in my year there were 10 to 15 in my college. Now, of course, still a vast minority compared to probably any other university, but still much better than I had been expecting. So there was a community, there were people that I could talk to. There's an ACS, which is a really lovely space, and I was really pleasantly surprised. Now, in terms of, have I ever had a racist experience in Oxford? Yes, absolutely. There's low level, and for me there's like low level and there's high level. And low level is the kind of thing where me and my friend, who's also a mixed race girl, went to a sort of event held by German faculty, like a dinner thing. We're walking, an official comes up to us and goes, "Oh, you two must be the ambassadors." No, just because we're black doesn't mean that we're ambassadors. And I think that Oxford very often has given, I can't say all of its black students, but certainly me, the feeling of, to be here and to be black, you need to be more. You can't just be a student. You're representing a movement, you're representing a people, you're representing so many things more than just being a student. And I hugely disagree with that, because why do I have to be any different from anybody else? So that kind of thing, I have had more overt issues with tutors. The kind of thing like, oh, because Ella's not in the room, I can say this, and then go on to defend colonialism, and how it gave a voice to the Africans. Things along those lines. They're depressing, sure, but every tutor that I've encountered that have been dodgy basically about race, I take the time, if I can, to try to actually explain to them why this is as offensive as it is. And I have never had a tutor kind of throw that back in my face. But you've got the whole issues with Christchurch about comparing kind of flour shortage to the death of George Floyd. You've got Christchurch then claiming to install like anti-bias training for its students. You've got the Rhodes statue and various different examples of colonial history throughout the university. So, I don't think we can say that Oxford isn't a racist place. It's just not. In my first few weeks there, a blind student called Ebenezer was dragged out of the Oxford Union by his ankles, African PhD student, because they claimed he didn't have a ticket. It, just depresses me. But there are brilliant groups of black students at Oxford that are working to change these things. Like when Theresa May and Amber Rudd were invited by the Oxford Union and by the Feminist Society, there was actually kickback, and that kickback is what is so important, and that's why we need more black students at Oxford. The more of us that there are to tell you, you're being fucking ridiculous on race, the less they can actually get away with it. So academic-wise, it's a dream, okay? It's a dream. It's not a dream in terms of their curriculum and their syllabi, because they're stuck in 1924, but I don't like the fact that every term I have to go to my tutors and go, can I please not write on these racist texts? But I get one-to-one personal tutorials most of the time. Very brilliant teaching, all the resources in the world that you could ask for, the most beautiful buildings to study in. Sure, they're built on slavery money, but they're there. They're there to use. It just academic wise, you can't compete in terms of resources and what you can do with those resources as a black student, what you can achieve, because that's what I care about. I care about what you can achieve. I don't give a fuck about colleges, about names, about statues of bastards. I don't give a fuck. It's about you. And I want you to go as a black student because I want you to show them what you can do. Genuinely, please kick them up the ass and show them what the fuck you're capable of.